Okay, I got it started and rolling. So it shows for y'all that it's recording. That's good. I didn't know it showed anything out there for y'all about it. But I don't have, but how I see things and how y'all see things, I know are different. So the SSID, you'll see often that it's identified on there is some type of identifier where it's at. The wireless LAN controller is normally just in those wireless access points anyway. And the packet filtering firewall is a stateless one. It's looking at the packets and determining are they ones that should be let through or not. The stateful ones approach it a little bit differently, so that you're then getting into a little different with stateful one. So that the packet filtering ones are working on layer 3 and layer 4. So they're basing it on that. They've got a policy lookup table that they just look up in the table and see, is this one that's permitted through or not? Stateful ones give you a lot more things on it. You're moving down to layer 3 distinctly on it, but with a stateful one, you're using your connection information and you're digging more information off of it. The other one here is the next generation. And they are taking it beyond the stateful to making it even more. And these physical firewalls, like I've mentioned with Palo Alto, Barracuda, etc., they've got the basic ones that they do the stateful inspection. So as it comes through, they look at it. They also do the stateless, where they look at the table, but with the stateful, that they're looking at the connection information in their state table of how it's actually there. They've actually gotten the next generation ones that they've got intrusion prevention. So if it looks like an intrusion's occurring, it can block the intrusions. And that it also gets into the applications. Now, if you look at your firewall in your multi-layer switch that we were talking about a little bit ago, they're not looking at applications right there. But like you look at these next generation firewalls, it looks specifically at what application is it. Is it a dangerous application? And it blocks those. And then they're continuously upgrading the information on them. So that's the big ones on those. The next thing they talk about is IPD and IPS. So they talk about the intrusion prevention systems and the intrusion prevention detection. And IPD and IPS is two different things, and these are firewall terms. IPD just detects what's going on out there, but doesn't do anything about it. And you've got that out there on some stuff, but it sends warnings about it, but it doesn't take any action against the traffic that's coming through. IPS is the intrusion protection system, and with the IPS, it actually blocks traffic on you. So IPS is actually blocking for you. IPD just detects that something looks suspicious and sends a message for it to be further checked out, but it doesn't take action on it. IPS actually takes action and blocks or allows traffic. IPD just monitors it. So those are two terms that you'll see a good bit as you go further on. So be aware of those. I'm not sure if they were even on that list on that page. And let me get back to the beginning of the chapter so I can continue on. Yeah, they were. Okay. So they talk about host-based IPS also, and that's where you've done the IPS on a machine. Access control list are actually firewall types that those of you that have done the gone into the second Cisco course, actually the first Cisco course as you do it now, that you build those. It's building rules of which traffic do you allow through. Are you allowing web page traffic to come in? Are you allowing requests for web page traffic to go out? So you're building rules. For instance, you may allow port 80 and port 443, which is web, but you may, and you should, disallow just about everything else except for the things that you know specifically you want to allow specifically through. SNMP is just a protocol out there that will allow you to manage your network, and it works pretty well. NetFlow will do the same thing for you. Packet Analyzer, that actually goes back to the IPD. That allows you, is similar on it, but not exactly, because IPD is looking for specific things. Packet Analyzer just allows you to look at traffic and to analyze what that traffic is. So you can grab certain parts of the traffic and then look at what's come across and grab those. And that's, you've got software and hardware devices that serve as packet analyzers. Port mirroring, you can do stuff floating off the same ones. Network time protocol, that's an important one. You really want to have everything on your network working on the same time. So you'll use NTP to make sure everything's all set at the same time. If you have devices with different times on them, it can mess your network up. TACs, the TAC-ACS is another one for your control on it. Radius, actually those are getting into your authentication now, and that you'll use those for authenticating users on your network. And then VPN is a virtual private network, so you can set up networks within privately for you, and actually when you get in Packet Tracer you'll be doing a little bit of that. The physical topology versus the logical topology. Physical topology is how we actually have our devices all hooked up. The logical topology is how's it work. So in today's world with switches and where we said you have one device going back to each port on the switch, you're really physically setting it up in a star topology. However, logically we've got them working as in a bus topology, which is what we have been going to for a long time. So it's physically a star. You've got a switch in the middle and all the devices coming off of it. But what's really happening is the traffic's traveling around in the switch to all of them. It's not just going to, now it's only sending out of the switch to each individual one, but it's going across there and every port sees it. It's just the ports are then deciding, don't send it onto their device or send it onto their device if it belongs to them. Then the access layer versus the distribution layer versus the core layer. Access layer is where your PCs are. That's where humans actually access stuff that's in networks. The distribution layer is where your devices are within your network, connecting things together. That's where your switches are, and that's where you'll have your closet with your switches and such things. And that's where it's connecting together. The core layer is where the whole big thing connects together, and that's where you normally hook on out to the internet. The DMZ is where you've set up an area that you've got a device out there or devices that they're not as protected. They're not sitting behind your edge of your network completely protected out. For instance, web servers will usually go in the DMZ because you don't have to get people's authorization and make sure that everybody is authorized to get into your web server to access information in there, to access web pages. If they want to access stuff that you've got stored that is proprietary information and stuff that you maintain, then you're going to put that inside your secured network, but you'll put the web server sitting out there in the DMZ, so that at that point it's not as well protected. So you're really having to protect on the device, but you still can't protect as well because like a web server, you're letting everybody hit on it some anyway, so that gets a little more tricky on that one. And then zone-based policy firewalls are just firewalls where you split your network up into zones and you got firewalls trying to protect those different areas. All right. I've sort of ran through an overview of the chapter for you right there. Now for questions for me. And those that listen to the recording later, sorry about you missed the first part of it. I forgot to turn the recording on, and nobody reminded me until we were partway through it. Couple of general notes for you. I was not online yesterday. I had a friend that had a family emergency in Charlotte, North Carolina, and needed to get to Charlotte, North Carolina yesterday afternoon, right when I left from church, that I found out about, and I volunteered to drive up there and deliver them there, and then came back to here. That took me, with a supper break, because I did stop in Greenville, South Carolina, and did eat supper there. Figured out my stomach doesn't really like gluten-free pizza that I ordered by mistake when I walked in the rapid-fired pizza place there that I like. Next time I'll have to get the right crust on it. But that ended up taking me, I think, about 10 hours yesterday. So when I got in last night, right at midnight, I went on to bed. And I had left at 2 o'clock because I was leaving church about 12:15. I found out on the other, and I went and grabbed lunch, and then we headed out pretty quickly. So I was offline. I think I've gotten all messages all caught up right now from this morning, from yesterday and this morning. The discussion is out there, although that doesn't apply to y'all that are watching live. I was a little slow in getting that one out there because I was really intending to put it out last night or yesterday afternoon, and then things happened. Likewise, I've got to still write my newspaper article today, and I've got collaborate sessions till somewhere around 3. The last one's at 2. And then I may have to go to Rome to meet with a student. I'm waiting to find out. And then I've got my internship class. They want to meet with me about 8 o'clock tonight online because they're modifying some web pages for me that I do for nonprofits that I don't make any money on. So this week I should be here, as far as I know, all week. I'll try to get grading on y'all stuff again. I spent all Saturday afternoon grading on 2451 on their first assignment, but I believe I've already done y'all's first assignment, and so I'm going to try to catch on up. And I got handed another class to work on temporarily last week for the next, I'm not sure how long. So just what I needed was one more to do. Let's see, on your question, Skylar, is it possible to configure a packet as a tracer to send back to a suspected attacker from outside? Yeah, I don't see why not. You could not send it from in there. More than likely, probably in terms of what you're saying there, you do more of set up a honeypot that's designed to catch that type traffic, and then it does a response back to them to catch and look at the stuff. But I'm assuming from what you're saying there, because you're saying to configure a packet as a tracer to send back. Because you could take a packet that somebody has sent that is a suspicious one, and you can send back to it, and that's what you are going to do sometimes. But usually when you're getting something that you don't really like, you're going to you don't want to be responding back to them, because then that tells them it's a live network and gives them more to, leads them on more to wanting to then do more attack on it, because they want to attack places they know they can get something from. And if there's a response back from it, then they know that's a good one to go for. It's just like when they send out emails at you, spam emails, that if you respond to one, then they know that's a good email address. So if you respond to it saying remove me from that list, they know you now got a good email address. So now they can sell it off and sell it to more people. I've already confirmed this one's a good working email address currently. Did that answer the question, Skylar? Okay. Because you can grab the packets anytime, and that's where the packet analyzer will often do you good, where you can just grab the packet and then you can modify the packets you get and do whatever you want with them. So you can play with them. All right, other questions? So y'all are working on 5 this week. I assume I've got everything set up in there, and then y'all said so I'm going to tell the student that just wrote, that I just saw the message from, about on the CDC problem. I'm going to tell them that actually one or two of you found shutting down the virtual machine and restarting it and then trying to do the connection again worked good, and that others of you found it did work, because I know I did get a message from 1 or 2 people on that, and that then y'all can go ahead and work onward. All right, any others? And the other one is, so we're getting close to now where we're going to get into using Packet Tracer in here. If you haven't finished the Packet Tracer course, and the only thing you have to do in there is read the material. You don't have to do any labs in the Packet Tracer course. There's labs sitting out there, but I didn't assign them. You do have to do, I believe it's 2 quizzes and the course feedback. I had requested that I would have liked for y'all to have it done by last week, but I didn't put a deadline on it. It's not on the calendar. That I really would like for y'all to get that wrapped on up, because actually I'm going to give you an assignment from Palo Alto that is their Foundations of Cybersecurity course for y'all to work on along too. I don't have to have it finished until the end of the semester, but they just sent me the shells for it, and that way you'll get more than just Cisco's view on it. Well, you're going to need to do it again. It gives you another view with some additional information, with a different view on the cybersecurity. And remember, Palo Alto, that is their business. Cisco, routers and switches is their big business. Security of all of that stuff is also part of it, but Palo Alto, their whole business is building firewalls and the security of the network. They're not building just regular switches or routers or anything. Cisco's got that market well filled, but Cisco gets into firewalls and stuff too. So just to give you some more perspectives on it, and that way your knowledge is deeper. They actually have certificates for me now that they made available last summer that I can give out to y'all when y'all finish the Palo Alto course on it, that course. So when y'all get through with this course, I'll have gotten you several certificates of completion / attendance. They're not certifications, they're just certificates. As a matter of fact, I need to sign up, and I'm going to have to do that in the next day or so. I've got a voucher to go take Palo Alto's networking and security certification. And I need to take that. That expires the end of February, I believe. So I need to get that taken, because they gave me the voucher last March when I was at the North Carolina Computer Instructors Association meeting. That's the North Carolina CIA. And I'm scheduled to go to that in the beginning of March this year. Any other questions for me? And I know it's a lot of work in the class, but hopefully that you're all getting lots of stuff. And then when y'all go out to work, that y'all be better prepared for whatever you run into. Because I like to get lots of information from lots of places. All right, then I'm going to let y'all go, and I'm going to turn the recording off.